Hotty toddy, Ole Miss fans, and welcome to the Brad and Chad Show, an Ole Miss Network production, brought to you by Blue Delta Jeans, made in the USA. This is the show by and for Ole Miss fans, where you'll get expert insight and analysis on Ole Miss athletics. And now, here are your hosts, former Rebels Chad Flowers and retired NFL star Bradley Sowell.
Podcast time.
Good morning, 5-0 on a Sunday morning, Bradley. It feels pretty damn good, if you ask me.
I mean, unbelievable. Rebs 5-0. At the softball field all day, but I had my phone on me watching it, going crazy in the middle of the games. People thought I was crazy on that sack fumble. I randomly started high kneeing down the sideline of a softball field, and they're looking at me like, "What is going on?" Well, of course, I had my app pulled up. Dude, unbelievable game. Just unreal. Just a great start to the season, and we got a quality win under our belt and did it in a gritty fashion.
For sure, and want to thank everybody listening to the Brad and Chad Show, brought to you by Blue Delta Jeans, Nest and Wild. Bradley, I would like to commend you first and foremost for respecting the podcast and not going collarless today. Now, you've gone a little bit further than I would have gone with the shirt and tie, but the effort is not going unnoticed, my friend.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, hey, I'm feeling like a champion today. We had have a 5-0 Ole Miss team in the top 10. I get in trouble for the dress code last week, so I'm going to make sure we're looking good. And, my little softball team came in second place this weekend. So, just a good Sunday morning. May even go hit the church here shortly. So, good to go.
Good for you. Now, how many games did y'all play? 30, 40 yesterday?
Man, let me tell you something. This team down here that we're on is a new team, beginner team. And I had plans. Honestly, I had plans of showing up and then making it to the Grove at least by third quarter. I had it all planned out. We're in Carthage, Mississippi. I'm going to Zoom up there. I'm going to at least get to be there for the after. Sure. Man, this team went 3-2 and made it to the championship. I didn't think this team would win a game for the first year. Yeah, found myself on the ESPN app. My kids did great. My daughter had 27 strikeouts in her first full tournament, so she did awesome. It was a cool deal, but man, that was this softball is taking a toll on me.
I bet. And so what's cool is you've got great stories about your kids. I've got a good one too with mine. I actually had the experience of getting to figure out how much stuff my 3-year-old can dump into my toilet from our trash can before it clogs up. So, and the cool thing is we still don't know because the toilet's still clogged, and that was on Thursday. So, man, it's just been the kids just giving us so much joy, both in your life and my life. I can't think of a better way to spend my week, especially my Sunday now, trying to figure out how the hell to get my toilet unclogged.
There you go. Hey, you should get Justin. You should get Justin to go in there, stick his nose, and give a few snorts down there. Get some of that out of there.
He would be more than willing to help out, to actually contribute around this home. So so that's good. Well, let's get a little bit into the game before we kind of make our deep dive. Early impressions. I felt. The good thing is we beat a top 10 team at home. The other good thing, the silver lining that I'm going to find, is we still haven't played a complete game yet. Right? There's a lot to be left on. There was a lot left on the table from this win in terms of things we can improve upon, which is something that I would think we stretch to say with an Ole Miss team that's 5-0, probably going to be a top 10 team before long. I'm pleased the fact that I can say there's still some stuff they got to work on.
Yeah. Listen, man, this, you have to win games like this. Yeah. In the process that we're in, that Ole Miss is in, it's a new team, breaking in a new team. And what I say is, like, these gritty games, kind of like Arkansas last year. That's what I said earlier in the week. I said, it's going to be like an Arkansas style game. It's going to be one of those games where it's going to take a little bit of grit to win. And, and it was really a tale of two halves. I mean, at first it looked like, hey, we're going to show up, potentially beat them pretty good, and had a chance to do it, but, kind of let them back in, which Kentucky, hats off to Kentucky, man. That's a good football team.
They are good.
That offense is solid. Barry and Brown, if the draft was tomorrow and Barry Brown could go to the draft, he'd be a top 10 pick. I'm gonna tell you that right now. That kid is unbelievable. All in all, I mean, just a tale of two halves, really. I mean, once we get that killer mindset, that step on their throat mindset, which is great because these are all young kids still. You know, quarterback's a freshman, Dart's Triggs a a lot of these kids are younger kids still, and we got a 5-0 top 10 team. Yeah. And I've been saying this for a while. Like, I think this year we're going to be a good team. I really did, but the future is crazy bright here with this group, and this group's starting to figure out, hey, a win or two like this is what kind of builds their character and builds their team. And man, I mean, you got to do what you got to do to win a game, and sometimes that's a real SEC battle. And you made the play at the end, and man, I mean, unbelievable job to be sitting here at 5-0 after a game like that.
What did you think of the uniforms? I thought that the much ado about the helmets. I thought the look was. I thought it was great. Yeah, no,
I'm outstanding. I thought it was, the environment was great.
Mm-hmm.
The stadium was absolutely awesome. And the uniforms looked great with it. I mean, it was a good day for Ole Miss, all in all. You obviously you hear what Lane says during the week about the fans, all that, and all my buddies are texting me throughout the week from all over the U.S. Hey, you guys don't go to games and whatever, and then you show up and look at the stand. It's like, man, that was a good environment, and a weekend where there's a ton of big recruits there. There's a ton of big recruits there, and just an awesome showing all around. Ole Miss took a big W yesterday as a university, as a fan base, and as a team.
Right. I think the impressions that we were able to put, being an ESPN game right out of game day, while it's not the best time slot for a fan, I think it gives us great exposure. The vault was rocking yesterday. Mm-hmm. The team looked great. And, of course, we came away with the W. So a lot of boxes got checked yesterday in terms of where the program is headed. I couldn't be happier about the game and then how things went. So kudos all around to everyone. It was a fantastic look for the program yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. All around Ole Miss. Ole Miss crushed it. Big W for Ole Miss. You got to love days like that.
For sure. So let's get a little bit deeper into first half. We're sensing a trend with the way the season has gone. First half, we look unstoppable. The offense was moving the ball. We could not. I'm not going to say we couldn't be stopped because we did, get stopped a few times. But the way that we just set the tone, I don't know if it's the scripting, because we can talk a little bit about that in a second. I don't know how many plays get scripted normally with the team, but we were sharp. We were moving the ball effectively and efficiently. What were your early impressions, first quarter-ish with the Rebels?
Yeah, it looked good. Came out, like you said, looked sharp. We go up 14-0. I think it was 14-0 in there. And, Judkins takes essentially that same play that worked versus Georgia Tech. We come back, you got a offset cracker in there, and he runs and cracks the guy. Just a zone play that opened up right at the middle. Boom, he takes to the house. Rebs like they're about to roll. Literally the next kickoff, huge return, leads to point. So it's just, early on, man, we're just close. We're super close. We got to get that mindset. We got to get some experience. Got to get some maturity to say, hey, when we go up 14-0 in an SEC game and you got them on the ropes, man, you got to be able to make it 21. You got to be able to keep adding points. You can't just get lax. And I think that's where we're at as a team. I think we are. We get up and we got to have a better mindset of not allowing them back in the game, because there was multiple times where that game looked like it was about to be, Ole Miss was about to start boat racing them. And then it turned at the end, like we should have lost the game. And we rightfully so, we should have. But early on, man, we're sharp. Everybody looked good. We just got to figure out a way to consistently do that throughout the game. It's the same thing with Tulsa. You just that lull, and it's kind of crazy. Is last year we kind of had that same issue at times too. Mm-hmm. So that brings me back to my thing: is what are scripting wise? Are we is our best 15 our best 15, or and then we're struggling to kind of figure it out from there. But I don't know. This kind of the trend, and hopefully we'll get to where we fix this.
In your experience, both NFL and obviously with Ole Miss, how many plays typically, how does the scripting of the first few series work?
Yeah, so usually you start out with the first 15, and we would always get the first 15. So the night before a game, you're at a meeting, you're in a hotel, They pass out a sheet. It's the first. This is how they do it in the NFL. In college, it could be different. When I was there, it was Houston Nut, like a little bit. It wasn't quite, Houston Nut coach wasn't quite as what I learned later on. So you pass out the first 15. You go over every play. You talk about, hey, here's the here's what we're thinking the first some odd plays, and then after that, there's also so say you're not going to go down the list for first 15. Because certain situations come up. Hey, it's a third down. Hey, now I'm going to, hey, what's my best third down play? So now I got a whole column. So if you look at a play sheet, it says third down, second and short, short yardage. It's got all your goal line packages. It's got all your, all your situations on it. So the first 2 plays you run and you get to third down, you may actually go to the column of, hey, your best third down play, depending on what the yardage is. As long as you stay on target, you'll stay on your first 15.
Okay.
And so typically, yeah, that's how it works. I mean, you usually have your first 15. You know it. You go to bed studying that first 15. You look at their looks versus the first 15. And a lot of times, man, you'll get to that 15 plays and be up 14, 21 points, and you'll just turn it around, go right back to the top, and you'll run it from the opposite side or a different formation. Hey, I'm going to run this one out of trips left. It was out of trips right. I'm just going to flip the play. So there's sometimes the coach's first 30 plays won't even get off the script.
I got you. Yeah, because it looked very, anytime you're playing against a top defense. And we said going into this week, we didn't really know what we had. The way we were moving the ball early on, I was, okay, this looks like it's going to be a really good day for the Rebels. We talked about, and you mentioned that we could have lost that, and in all rights, we should have lost it. There was one play that I kept looking back on as that fourth quarter continued to go the way that it went. In the first quarter, we had it might have been early second, but we had a 4th and 1. And I've actually got a quote from Kiffin that we'll play here in just a second, where 4th and 1, we're driving, we're in Kentucky territory. 4th and 1, we're going to go for it like we do, right decision in my mind. And then all of a sudden we have a false start by Trigg. And I thought that was crushing. Debilitating. Let's listen to what Lane says, and we'll come back and talk about it afterwards.
Yeah, that was not pleasant. Supposed to be on the ball, and we stopped the play twice, whistling over to get them on the ball, and so is what it is. Again, like you get new players, you have young players, they come together. It doesn't all work, and it takes some time. And Jackson will be a veteran someday. He'll move the guy on, like I was trying to do, and help him out. So it just was unfortunate because it's 4th and 1. They're in a good look. We're just going to hand the ball off and make a first down and end up having to punt because of it. So
with someone that is so well versed in false starts, Bradley, what did you take from that situation?
I think it goes back and speaks to where we're at as a team. We're inexperienced, and people don't realize how young some of our key players are. And like Lane says, hey, you bring all these players together, and this is kind of this is kind of things that happen. You get a Trigg's really a freshman, Dart's a freshman. Things like this happen, and this is where we want to get to as a team. We want to get to where those things stop happening. That's when we're going to take that leap as a team. Right now, we are a good football team, but this team has potential to be great. But it's going to start with them cleaning up the mistakes, the false starts, the shitty snaps, the shooting themselves in the foot, and that's going to take us from these close games to dominating these games. And it's coming. I'm telling you, this team, it is coming with this team. So be patient. But at the end of the day, Lane is trying to reiterate, hey, these are all new guys. These guys have not been in. Like I think Dart said yesterday in the press conference, the first big game he's ever been in. I mean, this is not an experienced team that's 5-0 about to be a top 10 team. They're doing this on sheer talent, but they're learning as they go. And as they get older and more mature, these little mistakes will stop, and this team will take flight, and you'll see something really special out there.
When, you mentioned the bad snaps, so Eli Acker stepped in at center for the most part yesterday, and pretty much every snap you could see was low. Yep. Did you see that affecting the timing of the offense?
Brutal. It is a killer. Imagine being a quarterback, you're looking at the defense, and you have to bend down and look at the ground to pick up a ball, then turn back with your eyes. You should be able to catch that snap without even looking at the ball. I mean, it should be able to hit you right there, kind of the hands. You maybe glance down to snag it, but to turn and look all the way down the ground, try it. Go outside in the yard and try it, and tell me how you're not just when you have to stand back up and look. It is brutal. It's a killer. It is an absolute killer. It can't happen. I know the guys in the room know it can't happen. It's been happening all year though. So we've got to, and I knew there would be a time where, it would get us. And, this game, it definitely affected us, and we'll be getting away with it by playing some different teams, but man, we've got to clean that up. It's going to come down to a game where it's really on the line like this last one, and it may not go our way. So, that has got to be cleaned up some kind of way. I don't know if you're center, whatever, we got to get that cleaned up. That's going to kill us.
Now, back to one thing I forgot to mention regarding your little ensemble that you put together with your shirt and tie. I didn't ask you, what's underneath the camera? You got Blue Delta jeans on underneath there?
Yeah, I'm gonna say I got some BDJs on, or maybe just, I don't know. Yeah, maybe some shorts. I don't know. BD shorts. No, I'm kidding.
Yes. So I do want to talk, quickly about our sponsor, Blue Delta Jeans. They've got a nice little event coming up on the square here in a few weeks. Mustache the Band is coming, which you've got some familiarity with. One of the best country bands, 90 country bands, party bands out there. I think they're hosting it at the Lyric the weekend of the Auburn game. So on Friday night, you'll have square jams where you'll be able to come to the square, celebrate, get ready for basketball season. Then Friday night, we'll have an event at the Lyric. What time does that start, Bradley?
It is, I don't know. They didn't put a time out, but I'm guessing right after square jam, somewhere in there.
Yeah, so 8:39-ish, something like that. Yep. Open bar, if I'm not mistaken. The Blue Delta Jeans guys really know how to take care of you. So that should be pretty fun.
Run it up.
Yeah. Make sure Nick Weaver has to pay way more than he wanted to for all the alcohol that Oxford's ready to consume.
Nick may actually be the lead tab right there. I mean, he actually may run it up himself.
Yeah, and make sure you ask him to say a lot of W words because he's really, really proficient in those. So anytime you can make him say something where he's going to stutter for 20 minutes, I'm all for it. So please make sure you try to give him some tongue tweezers or tongue twisters whenever you're talking to him there. So, okay, we got a little business out of the way. Let's talk a little bit more about first half. We talked about the early drives. The Rebels looked good starting out. Then it just kind of slowed down. I will say, as much as Jackson had to deal with the poor snaps, I thought it was another good step considering the competition that went up. Yeah, he made a bad throw in the second quarter leading into halftime, kind of similar to the Georgia Tech game. But he was making smart decisions. He ran the ball well. There were a few passes across the middle where if he just got a little bit more air on them, that game gets blown open. Gets blown open. But it was another encouraging week from a young guy that's still getting his footing. And like he said in his presser, first big game he's ever played in. So another box checked for me in proving that we've made the right decision in making Jackson Dart the guy.
Jackson Dart is knocking on the door of exploding.
Yes.
I'm just going to say that right now. The throw that he got picked off and another one later on that got batted down, a little bit more air. Those are literally great completions, and he'll get there. But he made some throws off his back foot yesterday.
Yes, to Malik.
That were big time throws.
Yes,
really big time throws. I'm telling you, man, the kid is knocking on the door of really exploding and being a good quarterback. And this year you're gonna get what you're gonna get out of him. Man, he's gonna get as good as he can. He's a young player, but dude, this guy's ceiling is high, and this is why from the beginning we're saying, hey, stick him in there, because when the game's on the line, my man's off his back foot, throwing a corner route across the field and hitting it on the money. Yes. It was 3rd and 15 on one, and he connected a big shot over the middle. He's got the talent to do it, and he's getting close to exploding. And man, he's once he really starts to turn it on, kind of like Corral did, later on, man, this team's going to go to a level that we may have never seen before.
That's the scary thing. If you count both halves, like I mentioned before, I don't think this team has played a full game yet, which is scary considering we're 5-0. And, back to mentioning what some of the throws that Dart made, he made 2 to Malik Heath while he was throwing off his back foot. One that Heath dropped when he, hit the ground, and it should have been a catch. But they were perfect. They were right on the money. He had pressure in his face, and he just threw it where only Malik Heath could catch it, which is the important thing, right? It's not those jump balls where a ball got tipped up and he caught it. It was the only person that could have caught that was a Rebel, which, once again, another encouraging sign.
Yeah, Dart, man, I'm telling you, it's close. He's getting there. The more he gets in these games like this and battles through it and finds a way to win, we've all seen the bad side of this. I feel like this kid has got a massive arrow pointing up, and it's only a matter of time for that confidence keeps growing. Games like this are certainly going to help. Confidence keeps growing, and man, I think he could take it to another level, and he's going to. He really is. He's a young guy.
Now, on the defensive side of the ball, I felt like this was our worst tackling performance of the season. Now, granted, they've got some physical runners. There were a lot of yards after catch, yards after contact.
Wow.
Rodriguez looked really good. He is a load to bring down for Kentucky. But I felt like, we praised earlier this season the secondary and how physical they were and how they wrapped up. I felt like Kentucky was able to get a lot of extra yards from contact, and especially some of those screens that they ran. They got a lot of yards after catch, which, really helped keep Kentucky in the game.
Yeah, some of their best plays yesterday were just a screen with a missed tackle. I mean, Barry and Brown, when he caught that tunnel screen late in the game, that cannot happen, man.
No.
Yeah, a play as simple as that, and you're already in a kind of a prevent style. You got a ton of people out there. Man, this man cannot slip through your whole defense in a situation like that with a minute to go and go 50 yards or whatever he went. I know he's a great player. Don't get it twisted. Now, that kid, to me, that's going to be one of the best. He's going to be unreal in the NFL. I'm telling you right now, you'll hear Barry and Brown for a long time. But man, that can't happen. Not that point in the game. And it's tackling. You look at the back of the film, and it's two missed tackles. But overall, though, man, I mean, you look at the defense. They were gritty. Now they exploited Kentucky's weakness, and it's their O-line, man. And we talked about it. It's funny. So you look at the grand scheme of the game. Let's go over the grand scheme of the game. What do we talk about before the game? Okay, the difference in games are usually third down turnovers. Okay, we were both even on third down. We both went 50%. We went 7 for 14. What do we win? We won the turnover battle.
Yep.
What was the game? The game was a 3-point game. It turnovers, third down, and what do we say? Their O-line was their weakness. What lost them that game? You look at that last play. That right tackle had a chip in his pocket. Okay, that's where you got a running back right there in your pocket. You go out, you set, you put your hands on the guy. You don't get beat inside. You let the running back knock him over to you. Exactly what the running back did. The tackle should be there holding that D in. Literally with a chip, the lineman loses to Ivy and gives up the game-winning sack. Can't happen. Can't happen on Kentucky's part. That's their weakness. We beat them off their weakness, which is their O-line. And we got after Levis multiple times yesterday, and that turnover was created from their weakness. So, I mean, kind of everything we talked about, it was the difference in this game. And obviously, Kentucky missed some field goals, all that. We missed some opportunities as well. Lane probably should have kicked that field goal there when we were on the 5-yard line to go up by 6 points. Just because at the end you'd have felt better, about.
Sure. I was okay with it. Yeah. I was okay with it because it's kind of hey, let's go up 2 scores. Let's end the game right here. They were in a position where they would have won the game anyway because they scored a touchdown. Granted, they couldn't kick an extra point to save their life yesterday, so that might not have worked. But I understand that, the points would have looked nice, but that's what Lane does, and I like the killer mentality, right? So, I mean, 6 points is not going to save us from a touchdown if Kentucky drives it down.
Yeah, that one could have been looked at both ways, because right there, if we don't sack fumble, they probably kick it and we're going into overtime instead of instead of it being a 6-point. And if they do score, there's 50 seconds to go and we're down 1 point instead of 4 having to score a touchdown. So that's the way I see it. I get it, though. You score there and you go up 10 and it's probably really over.
Yeah.
But you look at it from a situational standpoint, you're like, man, you'd rather be up 6. So if they did score, you got 50 seconds, you make, 2 big throws, kick a field goal, to at least give yourself a chance to win it instead of having to score being down by 4 points. Man, all in all, I mean, everything we talked about came to surface. Their O-line is pretty bad at pass protecting, and Levis is a good player now. Don't get me wrong. He is a solid, stands in there, makes some throws, and Kentucky is very athletic. They're tight end 85 that caught that touchdown. Great move over the middle. They They have two good receivers, a good running back. That's a good football team. That really is a good football team. Their line's probably their weakness, and that's killing them right now. But man, solid win. I mean, just after you look at that was a very evenly matched game, and that was a good win. That told me a little bit about our team, and I am knee deep in the Kool-Aid right now. So I am feeling it. I got the whole, you know. I think we're gonna be 7-0 going to Alabama, so it'll be a man. Who would ever said 7-0 this year going into Alabama? I mean, we got Vandy next week, Auburn.
Well, then we have A&M and LSU, so we've got two more after that on the road before we have Alabama.
Oh, sorry, 9-0 going to Alabama.
That's right.
7-0 going down to LSU. You're right. So 7-0 going to, yeah. So I was thinking Alabama was after that, but yeah, it's LSU, A&M. We got at LSU at A&M. Yeah, you're right. So 9-0 potential, but at least 7-0 going down to LSU. I'm thinking should be in the cards here.
I would think so. But like you said, there's still some good challenges up ahead. One thing that I feel like is going to have to be sorted out before, you know, some of these tougher games that are coming up. You may not know this, but the Rebels have only scored 7 points in the fourth quarter all season. And that was against Central Arkansas. Now, granted, game state tells you that there were some games where a point doesn't really need to be scored. The game was in hand. But you look at Troy, you look at Tulsa, you look at yesterday, we need to find some points in the second half. And Lane actually mentioned something about the second half and the scoring woes. Let's listen to that real quick and we'll come back.
Obviously didn't feel great again, especially at the end, not to finish out. But, you know, we did move the ball. Just didn't finish drives there in the third quarter and didn't have a lot because of the style that they play with. And that's going to be the case. You're not going to get a lot of chances and got to make the most of them. And, you know, we left the ball down here on the 4 or 5 yard line instead of, you know, getting a touchdown.
Yeah, so if you listen to our show earlier in the week, we talked about how slow Kentucky likes to play. Now, that did play a factor, right? Because they were draining the clock. They took most of the time. I think it was a 36 to 23 minute advantage on time of possession, if that's your thing. But it has to at least raise some pause to us. The Rebels seem to get stuck in the mud a little bit in the second half. Would you agree with that assessment? Yeah,
no, I agree. And that's why I'm questioning. I'm saying, hey, what is going on? Where are we adjusting? You know, but I'm with Lane a little bit too. We were driving the ball. We just got to finish. You know what I mean? Just finish. And that'll come. Hopefully that'll start coming. And yeah, I mean, it wasn't like we were just 3 and out, you know, all second half. That's where you get concerned. Okay, if I'm good, if I'm about 3 and out, punt. And then we got issues, but you know, we were getting our yards, we were driving. He's right. We could have, we drive all the way down there, 5 yard line to get really nothing out of that, at all. So, yeah, it's just one of those things. We got to start finishing drives and, that'll come, that should come in time. But at the end of the day, we are getting yards and it's not as, we just gotta get touchdowns. We gotta get points with it. So, it's not as bad as it looks.
When you were watching, you said you started high stepping. Was that when when Ivy caused the fumble?
When Ivy calls the fumble, I literally had my phone in the air and just like high stepping. But I'm in my own world now. Remember, I'm watching the game. No one else there is seeing what I'm seeing. Mm-hmm. So people are thinking I'm either won the lottery, or you know, I don't know what they're or this dude's been drinking at a softball tournament, which you know, a 10-year-old softball tournament can cause you to want to drink. But yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I'm in my own world, and I don't care. Dude. We were freaking 5-0. I mean, that was unbelievable to see. It really was. So
we need to get your wife to live stream you watching the Ole Miss game while you're at a softball.
I've said that for the longest time. If you see me during Ole Miss, I'm so up and down. It's like a roller coaster, man. I am your typical. I watched my dad for years do this. Mm-hmm. You know, with the way he's, you know, the old school Ole Miss fans turn the TV off. I'm done. You know, then you turn it back on, and now we're winning the game. You know, we're only down by 7. So it's like I got that mindset a little bit from growing up around those kind of Ole Miss fans. So I'm so up and down. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. I mean, two drives go by and I'm the world's over, and then all of a sudden, what I mean. I don't know. I got to get a little bit better letting it all play out.
Man, you should have seen the energy in our house. I mean, I'm watching the game sitting in my chair. My wife's asleep on the couch. Just could not be bothered with any of this. And so when the fumble happens, I do the old ball, and I start screaming at the top of my lungs and just going nuts. And she's basically looking annoyed at me that I woke her up. So it was just, the energy was just palpable in the Flowers household. So it was a sight to behold. I assure you of that.
So what kind of, when you get hype, what do you do? Like I'm a runner, dude. I like to run. I'm the old runner with the arm up, freaking out loud. What are you, the clapper? Are you the sit down clapper guy?
No, I'm not a sit down clapper. So when it gets really tight, I'm standing in front of my TV, pacing a little bit. I'm standing with my arms crossed, just watching. And I'm a fist pumper, I'm a clapper, and I'm a yeller. And then I'll just start walking in circles around my living room because I just have all that nervous energy. So yeah, that's pretty much me. I'm always pacing, pretty much. I'm a super hype. Yeah, you're like an offense coordinator. Yeah, I am. I really am. I am just pacing up and down the sidelines, basically.
Yeah, that's fun. I mean, there's been some fun Ole Miss moments, man, over the years. Just freaking, I don't know. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with this Ole Miss, but man, I'm sure a lot of people in Mississippi can identify with this. You grow up and not a lot, you don't have a lot as a kid, and that's just all we did, man. It was just Ole Miss sports, so it's crazy. It really is crazy.
It is. Me and my wife have been watching a show. It's called Welcome to Wrexham, which is Ryan Reynolds, Rob McElhaney. They bought an English soccer team. Watching those fans, that's the only thing that I can compare to college athletics in terms of how rabid the fan base and how much they care, because you're right. We didn't have a professional team. It's just Mississippi's your identity.
Yep.
And all I care about is I want Mississippi to be in the spotlight because of what everybody else thinks about our state. And so when Ole Miss, I'm not going to say Mississippi State, but when Ole Miss does well and people get to look at the state of Mississippi and say, man, look what they're doing right there, it just makes me proud. And knowing that, an Ole Miss team like this has so much positive news going on for them, it just really makes me happy. And I know that sounds cheesy, but it's just something about college athletics that pro sports cannot even provide.
For the first time I can't remember when, over the last couple of years, I've had texts from obviously playing all over the U.S. I know a ton of people, Washington, Arizona, Chicago. I get texts from these guys who are like, man, awesome game. Or like you get texts about Ole Miss, and it's like, that's pretty cool to see that our brand is back in the day, it was not like that. But now it's really reaching out there. People are seeing Ole Miss. I mean, they're seeing our success, and they're watching our games. It's like, it's pretty crazy to see, like, okay, Ole Miss 5-0, like a rebuild, a retool year kind of deal. Portal brings in some talent. Talent looks good, but not what you're thinking. Dude, we may end up matching our win total this year that we had last year, which is phenomenal with all the people that we lost. I mean, we lost a ton of NFL players, and it just shows what we're building here. And I'm with you, man. Like, I'm Mississippi to the core. I love it, and I love. I think it's good for the state.
Absolutely. So yeah, the program is definitely not one to sleep on. That is for sure. But I do know one thing you can sleep on, Bradley.
Here we go. Hey, Chad is the ad read lead champion of the world. It's unreal.
I just heard the collective groan of several hundred people as I said that. But yes, Nest and Wild Mattresses, headquartered right here in the state of Mississippi. I know you're a big fan. I'm a big fan of a good night's sleep, and Nest and Wild will provide that. High quality American-made materials. It comes with a 99-night return, which if you don't like it, send it back, get your money back. You can find them on Amazon, nestandwild.com. I know Bradley is a big fan. He has a Nest and Wild mattress of his own. So please, we've got a code, Nest 15 will get you 15% off of a Nest and Wild mattress. So please check them out, support them for one of our big sponsors here. So we really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Made in Mississippi too. We support a Mississippi company.
So we won't spend too much time on Vanderbilt. We'll have our little midweek preview show, but Vanderbilt's next. In Nashville, 3:00 start. Vanderbilt is Vanderbilt. This is we're lucky we get to play them every year. I think their new coach has them moving in the right direction, but at least looking at their numbers so far, there's still a lot to be figured out in Nashville. You would hope that Ole Miss does not come in too flat off of a big win like this, because anything can happen in the SEC. It's just one of those games where hopefully we can just go in, take care of business, and start getting ready for a scrappy Auburn team the following week.
Yeah, no kidding, man. I mean, it's one of those games you come off a big win, got to put this baby to bed and know, hey, you definitely should beat Vandy, but don't go up there and make it something that it shouldn't be. But based off of you coming down off a huge high here. So, I mean, we'll get to into them during the midweek, but yeah, it's one of those games, man, where you don't have one of those letdowns. You're in a dogfight with Vandy going into Auburn. So, but yeah, what do we got MVPs this week? Who do you got on? From Kentucky game?
For me, it's got to be Ivy, right? It's the play that made the game, right? It is the play that secured it. Yes, I can look at, Judkins, who was phenomenal once again, but Ivy saved the game. The play before, they almost scored a touchdown if it wasn't for a false start. So I'm going to have to give it to him.
Yeah, I was going to say Ivy, but I'll give it to Kentucky's kicker. I think he,
yeah.
I think it was perfect, man. He cost them some points.
They were awful.
I don't know what's going on, but hey, you got it, buddy. You can have the MVP. Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. There was nothing to write home about special teams wise in that game from us or from them. Especially from the kick coverage we had. But yeah, good win all around. Just a few things I have regarding some of the other Rebel teams. Soccer suffered their first loss. They lost to Tennessee 1-0 on Friday. Now they have another big game coming up on Thursday at Alabama. I think Alabama is number 5 in the country, so hopefully they can bounce back and get a big win there. Volleyball split with LSU, got their first SEC win down in Baton Rouge, so that was good to see as well. Now, from a picks perspective, it was not one to write home about for either one of us. Both of us went 2 and 3. You hit on Kentucky. You hit on, you hit on, who's the other one you hit on? You missed Alabama. I hit Alabama.
Are you sure I didn't go 1 and 5?
No, we only picked 5 games.
1 and 4.
No, you picked A&M, which they didn't cover. You lost that. You lost Alabama. You lost LSU, and then what was the other game?
The other game was Georgia.
You can tell how prepared we are with us just talking.
Yeah, no, the other game was Georgia. I picked Georgia to cover.
That's right. You did pick Georgia to cover. But I think there was one more game, not that anybody else cares, but me and you. Let me see. I've got it pulled up right here. No, you did go 1 and 4, didn't you? Yeah, that wasn't real good. I went 2 and 3. Just continuing to excel in my picks here. The Auburn game was the one that really snuck it out for me.
Yeah, I was thinking LSU would get them, but by a lot more. So, anyways, bet the inverse me, and you'll be rich.
Bradley is the message that we have here. Did you get a chance to watch any of the games around the league yesterday?
I did not. I watched some highlights. I got a chance to watch the Ole Miss game. It was in between our games. It bled into one game. But yeah, I was tuned into Ole Miss. I watched the highlights all today. Yeah, I mean, dude, why is Mississippi State doing this? Why are they? I mean, they looked all right yesterday. Now, A&M may not be that good though, but
no,
they're Jimbo's pretty much. He should be checking the housing market. I mean,
$95 million buyout for Jimbo Fisher.
Oh my goodness,
$95 million.
Who is he tricked? Like I don't understand.
Right?
I don't understand how some of these guys continue to do this. Like he. Oh man, I don't know. Good. Would it be
easier for you to do your job knowing that if you get fired, you get $95 million?
Yeah, I don't know I don't know where his motivation comes from. I mean, obviously it's not showing up. So
it's like that Orgeron. I don't know if you saw that interview where he was kind of explaining him getting fired from LSU, and they're like, Coach, come on in.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Hey, one thing I love about O though, like Coach, at least he's being real. Like, not the coach talk. Oh, it's tough. Tough getting out of there. No, he just said it like it was. Yeah, where'd I go? I'm out of here. Give my check. So that's, hey, it is what it is. That's what most people are thinking in their head. I mean, let's be real here. Like, I mean, and now Coach O, every weekend, he's at a new stadium. The dude's got $25-30 million in the bank. He's at a new stadium with his arms around cheerleaders. I mean, like this dude's he's a complete troll now. You know what I mean? He's I robbed all you guys. Me and Joe Burrow, we robbed everybody. Yep, we're gone. Like, it's just unbelievable, man. Like, it is. I mean, Coach O is living it up.
That's an excellent Orgeron impression, by the way. You should do that a lot more. That's really good.
Oh, Coach O, man, what a guy. I mean, I'm jealous. I'm envious. Like, I wish I had $30 million and just go to every game, whatever. Hey, I don't care, say whatever. But gosh, dude, what a guy. I mean, he's at least he's being real. He's not faking it. You know, he crushed it. He had a great year, and that was it.
So some of the other games that were of interest, Missouri almost shocked the entire world, including Missouri themselves, by beating Georgia. I don't know.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, but so Missouri had no clue. They had no clue they were.
Dude, I don't know what Georgia. It may be the Georgia offense, which is very Jimbo-esque, I guess you can say, in terms of let's just try to pound this square peg into a round hole for 50 minutes. But, man, they have looked sluggish the last two games, which they still have more talent than God. But you got to have to turn on, because I'll tell you, Tennessee and Kentucky are going to be interesting games. Those are talented teams, and Georgia's not going to be able to sleepwalk like they can against the Mizzou.
I mean, dude, I was hoping they lost. I'm not gonna lie. My buddy Drew Butler, he's just ragging me when we're playing Kentucky, Ole Miss, lucky, whatever. And then his tone changed when they were down 10-0 to Missouri. Yeah. And I tried to tell him, I said, listen, Lane is doing with our program, with the amount of talent we have compared to what Georgia has. I mean, Kirby's a step above Jimbo. I mean, like, listen, these guys have the best players in the world. Like, they have, if you look at their roster, I think it was like 56 or 64 and 5 stars. Yeah. Come on. I mean, there's no excuse. You got to win the national championship every year with those guys. Could Kirby come to Ole Miss and be 5-0 right now? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. It takes a lot more coaching to win at Ole Miss than it does it with some of these players. What if Lane had these players?
Oh, man. Right.
Come on. Yeah. Don't get me started on this. It's hilarious. These guys they're loaded. These teams are absolutely loaded. They should not be close gaming with Missouri here. So I don't know. Yeah, I was hoping they lost so I could talk some smack to my buddy Drew Butler, who I played with, and man, he is that annoying Georgia guy in the text message thread. Like, and I just get mad.
It kind of makes you realize. It makes the Texas situation, not to go off on too much of a tangent, but it is kind of fun to talk about other programs since we're doing well, and we can talk about other teams' misery. It's so interesting to me that Texas has gone the way that they have, because we talk about resources. Hell, they've got more than Alabama and Georgia, and they can't get 10 wins in a season, and I don't know how long since Mac Brown was there.
Yeah, I know. That's amazing. I mean, some of these programs have so much money, so much resources, and they're not getting their bang for their buck. Whereas I'm saying, you look at Ole Miss. I mean, Kiffin is 17-2 in his last 19 regular season games, and we have I don't know if we have a 5-star other than Evans on our roster.
Right.
And we got a decent amount of 4-stars now since he's been here to bring him in, but this isn't a recruiting class that's even middle of the SEC most of the time. I mean, this is very like 9, 10 every year. It's a top 25 class. Don't get me wrong, but it's never what some of these other schools are, and the resources are getting there, but they're not what some school. I mean, I feel like we're getting what we're getting out of our coaches, and what we have is phenomenal.
It really is, and props to Lane from what he's building, from what he inherited to what he's built has been phenomenal, especially with the speed that he's been able to do it. So yeah, it's been, we're very fortunate, I guess, is one way of looking at it.
Hey, Chad, did you pay attention to all the Grove Collective news that just came out with I guess they're combining all the NIL, I guess they're all together now or whatever, and you had Walker Jones leading it. So that's kind of good for Ole Miss. I mean, it's a step in the right direction in the NIL world.
For sure. And you heard Lane kind of mention it in one of his press conferences. He didn't speak too much on it, but you could tell that was a big deal to him because I feel like, and kind of talking about some of the other programs that have been struggling, when you have too many cooks in the kitchen, you've got to now start politicking with all these different factions. It was very nice to see kind of just all us come together and say, this is kind of the way we're going to do it, because it can get real messy real quick. So I'm sure other schools have done similar things, but I'm just glad that we don't have all these different factions, at least on the surface, with this one collective. I think that can only be good things for the program.
Yeah. I mean, at what point do we just give the team the salary cap? It's like, okay, we got this collective that has to be a for-profit organization. It's going to be for name and likeness. We're paying players.
Yeah.
Let's just give them a salary cap, create contract. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Why not?
Let's take the 5 big conferences, make them their own league, and then make the group of 5. They can stay in their little thing, play for their own championship, and let's just interschedule. You talk about the scheduling problems that we have. You can only play Power 5 teams. The group of 5 can only play group of 5 teams. Scheduling fixed, all of it's taken care of. Come to this show and you will get all your problems solved. That's all.
Like if I'm a college, I'm fighting for that, right? Like, cause why?
Yeah.
Because I want to contract these players.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't care. I don't care to give them a name and likeness deal and them have the means to leave as well. No, you want money. You want to throw money in the mix. Make them pros, contract them, make them have to stay with their team. If I signed a contract in my career, I couldn't just take my signing bonus and go to another team. No, put them. You want money? You want to involve money? Let's do it the right way. Contract these kids.
The only caveat that I would add, though, is if a coach leaves, the contract is now null and void.
Why?
Because I think the coaches have too much power to be able to just kind of bounce around wherever they want to, and the players are like, "Okay, well, I got to stay here. I came for you." But no, that's fair. I can entertain that for sure.
I can go on for days about the NIL thing, but it is exciting that we have something in place. That, I mean, it's I think William Liston was the original guy in that. Zach Scruggs a little bit involved, some other guys. I've obviously been in a few of the meetings, but it's good. I mean, at least we stepped to the plate for the short term. We did what we had to do just to make a stopgap, whatever, until there's some real. Now it looks like we're starting to step it up, take it to the next level. So I mean, it's the world we're in. We got to embrace this crap. We really do. And if you sit back and do the whole, hey, I'm not going to participate in that, we're just going to get left behind. So. You got to keep stepping up. It looks like we are, and that's awesome for our school. For sure, man. We had a lot to talk about today. It was good stuff. Yeah, no kidding. Man. No kidding. Hopefully, on Tuesday or Wednesday when our midweek show comes out, we'll have some good things to talk about Vanderbilt. You can expect us to be right back here next Sunday. Hopefully, I expect to be talking about another win, moving us to 6-0. Bradley, as always, man, really enjoyed it. Yep. See you, man. It's a great show. Good. The Rebs are 5-0. Man, feels good. Can't wait. Can't wait to get this thing rolling even more. So we'll see you midweek, man, and we'll get out. We'll get on Vandy and let you know what they got. Sounds good. Get out of that shirt and tie. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you listen. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Like and subscribe. We got more great content coming for you. Hotty toddy, everyone. See you, Chad. Hotty toddy. Thanks for listening to the Brad and Chad Show. Follow the boys on social media for more content. And don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. This has been an Ole Miss Network production brought to you by Blue Delta Jeans, made in the USA.